where it sits. I'm with Rosemary Gurney. Great to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too.
And isn't it wonderful to be actually talking to people?
Real people, real place. It's lovely.
Really just want to chat to you about a couple of things. I mean, obviously you work with Skillsoft, a global organisation delivering training and all sorts of stuff. You've got that perspective. You're also chair of ITSMF International, having served for a long time in that role in ITSMF UK.
I did, yes. Yeah.
We're not going to specifically go into those organisations, but we could just talk a little bit around about what, as an industry, we could be doing more together.
Certainly.
What kind of benefits or value could we actually get from, having more collaboration across organisations?
I think the whole point is that word, isn't it? It's collaboration, and we've tried to bring it into almost everything that we do, and we talk about whether it's training or whatever it is that we're doing. We benefit from that collaboration. We benefit from people's knowledge, experience, expertise, and bringing that together. And across country boundaries, that works just as well. And yes, ITSMF International strives to do that. We could do it better, but it works. When it works really well, and people benefit.
Just one or two examples then of how it could work. Where we maybe don't have, because we have this sort of diaspora of industry organisations.
Yes.
Whether that's service desk, help desk, ITSM, and so on. There's lots, and then lots of other smaller ones in some of the niche areas as well. What sort of practical benefits do you think there could be if we had more of a global perspective around those things?
I think the challenge we've got is that every one of those organisations you've mentioned wants a global view. And I think for the practitioners underneath that who are seeking which organisation do I hang on to, they're trying to work out what the difference is between them all, and why should I work with this organisation or that one. So in a way, we're a victim of our own success in that there are now so many organisations that want to sponsor and development, service management across the world, that they don't know who to go to. And that's probably our challenge,
Do you think it works in the sense that, you've got some areas that do require and do get benefit from them being communities, like let's say HDI, SDI, they live in that space of...
They do.
And the kind of people that come into that are working in that area and see themselves. We've always said it's been a bit more of a challenge in the ITSM because it's such a broad...
It is, and it's very difficult then to break it down into communities of interest.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you create that community, you almost certainly find an organisation that has already set themselves up in that niche space, and then they don't want to join hands. It's trying to get people to understand that we want to work together. We don't want to take people from you, or we don't want to dilute what you're doing. Actually, there's some synergy with all of us working together, but everybody is after membership numbers, they're all after click-throughs, they're all after the advertising. It's a real challenge to have that international view now.
Do you think we might have missed a trick in terms of not taking a sector-based view at it? The one example I think is quite interesting is UCHISA, which is in the higher education field, where it's that sector and they work quite well together.
Yeah.
Do you think we could do more of that?
Probably. On an international level, though, things like education varies across the world, so you'll always have competing places there. But yes, working in sectors has always got to be a benefit, because then people can find their home. It's almost like people find their tribe, isn't it? They say, well, I recognise that because that's my job role or that's my area of interest, so I can gravitate there. If you're too broad, then they don't know if it's really for them.
Do you think that would work for something like ITSMF International? Because we do have this thing with the country-based organisations and the global one. And not necessarily by sector, but are there any other demographics that would could help to bring it together a bit more?
Well, the way that it's going at the moment is that one of the board members has got a portfolio for Europe, but looking after the European chapters, and regularly pulls all the European chapters together.
Okay.
So they meet and share stories and help each other out from a Europe point of view, because that's where the majority of them are. As soon as you try to take that out of Europe, you're into the ones and twos, and it's more difficult to get people together.
Yeah.
But no, Europe is doing really well by coming together as a group.
Okay. What do you think, as a service management community, what else could we do sort of going forward that we're not doing at the moment? And that's not necessarily ITSMF, but are there other things that we should be doing to help the industry?
I suppose it is all about promoting service management in a wider context and looking for where the new next thing is coming. And it was always our reason for being is that we were thought leaders in that area. Maybe some of those thought leaders are now not with us anymore. They've moved on, and we haven't brought on the younger people. We're not maybe taking as much notice as the people who are coming into our industry, but they're not filling the traditional roles that we always talk about. They're doing different things and they want different things.
So just back to your training perspective on that then, just to sort of rounding it off, I mean, what have you seen any new kind of programs or ideas in that area that are helping that? Because if you're saying we're not bringing on enough thought leaders in service management, what should we be doing to develop that?
I think the problem with training, as in certified training, take an exam, get a piece of paper, is that you are very wedded to vendors and schemes.
Yeah.
We need to be able to break out of those much more, and much more blended, more bespoke pieces of work, and actually spend time with the customer and finding out how they're going to use it, what they want it for, and how they want their people to develop into the new roles, and not just rely on traditional certification to give them the information that they need, because now it may not.
Finally, do you think that we have to really look at how we share knowledge better in future? I mean, is that maybe a slightly facile question, but I mean, in terms of not just how it's presented, but how it's created and how it's distributed?
I think it goes back to what we've always talked about. Knowledge management is key to all of this, and how we manage what we know and how we communicate it and share it. And I think some people do a great job in that, but collectively we still don't do as much with knowledge management as we should. It's always been one of those things, we always want it and we always regret it when we don't have it, but nobody wants to be the person that sets it up.
Yeah, it's some job for somebody else.
It's a job for somebody, but nobody wants to
it's a
go
job for
on that
these
hill.
new thought leaders coming through.
Well, if they can find a new way to create that knowledge and share it, absolutely.
All right, well, that's a good point. I think to end, we've put the world to rights there, Rosemary. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at the next one of these.
We'll see you at the next one. Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Thanks.
All right.